Right. What's the latest save? This one, apparently. Alright, bolt yourselves in, folks. The Grimdark is about to hit you like a goddamn tidal wave, because this game is goddamn relentless with its misery. Kind of half the reason I'm only playing this for a few hours tonight before I switch to something else, because I can only handle so much misery on my Friday evening. I want something uplifting to play. So overall, I'm liking 5th edition at the moment. That's the edition I'm reading up on for this hypothetical game of Dungeons and Dragons I eventually want to run. I'm enjoying it personally. As I said, a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine from way back in the day. He's currently sort of tutoring me through the process a bit because he's currently a GM and has been for a while. He's been sort of walking me through it and having to dispel some of my misconceptions, or preconceptions, really, not misconceptions, but preconceptions about how D&D works based on my 3.5 experience, because 5th edition works somewhat differently to 3.5. It's much more open to interpretation in a way that I think is excellent, but it's still taking a while to, you know, adjust to. Uplifting, Dark Souls? Weirdly, yeah, it is, though, because Dark Souls is a lot of good, silly fun quite frequently. This game, Dark Souls, you know, like, it doesn't have a lot of moral grey in it. It's just like, go kill the big boss monster. Okay.
Hey.
This game is like, oh, all of the children are stillborn, and there's a tree with loads of dead people hanging from it, and oh god, everything sucks here, and it's horrible, and and there's purple ghostly dead people everywhere who I have to hear their sorry stories all the time because I can talk to them, and and you know, it's not a bad RPG at all, far from it, but it's relentless, as I said. So anyway, previously we cleared out this place, which the talking mystical chair in the Great Hall there has decided that we are now in charge of. You'd think we'd have to report this to the taxman at least or something, but hey. It's just, we've just sort of appropriated this ruined fortress now, and it's ours. But we want to go to Defiance Bay, because we're looking for, stuff. Sorry. Yeah, Mayorwald, the Mad Old Watcher, has told me that I might find the leaden key in the city of Defiance, never far from the Queen. It is there I must go if I'm to track down the man who triggered my awakening. An awakening is apparently when, because basically in Pillars of Eternity, reincarnation is a real thing that actually happens. And someone who's been awakened in this game is someone who essentially starts remembering shit from their past lives, and it starts to drive them completely batshit insane as a result. And that's what started to happen to poor old Nettle here, so... I still haven't looked up anything about this vampire game. Still haven't. Even though everyone keeps badgering on me about it. Kill the discount kobolds. Kill them? More stuff for the stuff throne. Although it really should be going into the stash. So we have a fine crossbow, apparently. God, Lord, we've got lots of stuff. We need to sort this shit. Initiates, no, yeah, right, I can go in there, I can go in there. There's Grimoire, I can go in there. Oh, yeah. I remember finding that. A fine greatsword. Yeah, with that and the S-Stock, don't we? And I think I made the decision that the S-Stock was better. For the most part? Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, I have loads of potions. I think half of which I've made myself, actually. Okay, inventory sorted. We cool. Their stock. Ooh, flowers. Ooh, dead things. Ah, it's a freaking troll. Holy Radiance. Knockdown. Also, Arcane Assault. Do it. Dude, it's just so tough. If we use fire on it. Fire's always good, right? And when you hit your friends with it.
Yes.
Ray of fire? Okay, why not? More fire!
Lava will be on seek.
Ray of fire is good. Is it still going or is it just bugged out? What's the description for that? Creates a scorching ray of flame between the caster and the target, inflicting continual burn damage to the target and anyone caught in the ray. Duration. It's 10 seconds.
Hey.
We won! Yay! Thrall skin. Ooh. Where did that end up? I think it went to the stash. Good. Oh yeah, and everyone wants to have a chat with us. Well, we'll do that when we find some sort of town. Honestly, try not to use the S-Dot that much anyway, because, you know, Nettle's still just a wizard at the end of the day. She doesn't have that many hit points. Crucially, she doesn't, unlike a fighter, she can't regenerate her endurance during the fight, which is a big deal. Hello there. Because we can power her up to a ridiculous amount by activating a bunch of these abilities and then popping off the parasitic staff and spirit shield and all that good stuff. And she can, whack some dudes with the Grimoire Slam and everything as well. But that's like a once per day type thing. Only in dire circumstances. Press, break glass for emergency. Melee wizard. Curse my luck, the woman mutters, kicking her foot into the ground and upturning a clod of soil. As you approach, her ears twitch and she turns to greet you. Hail, traveller, she says with a half-hearted hand wave. The bridge to Defiance Bay is out. If that's where you're headed, you'll need to find another route. Of course it is. Of course. What destroyed the bridge? Sorry, I need to burp. Ah, there we go. Oh, why did I yell that pizza? Why did I do it? I knew I had to stream this evening. Ugh. I'm clearly going to have to check out this damn vampire game because my chat just will not stop talking about it all the time. It was the plot convenience monster. Just came right on through here and smashed it to bits. When it comes to once per day stuff, you used to be very reserved about using it, but then you found you never used it as a result. Yeah, it's like having a rocket launcher in a shooter. It's like you keep holding onto it thinking there'll be some sort of big enemy I need to use it on, and then it turns out there isn't, and you never used the rocket launcher in the end and just made life hard for yourself. So I tend to be a little bit less sparing with it. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's not really once per day, it's once per rest, which is a different thing. So... Anyway, the river has been rising on account of all the storms. Here, where the river narrows, the flooding did the most damage. The Orlan woman folds her arms, a scowl overtaking her face. Guess they don't make things to last around here, do they? One of the stone columns collapsed in a flash flood, taking the whole middle section of the bridge out to sea. Madma Bridge was the most direct route from Gilded Vale to Defiance Bay. Merchants and travellers now have to find boat passage or add 8 days of extra travel to loop around the bay. So I started a ferry service, thinking I'd earn some coin and help others cross over to the bay. Peregrine shakes her head, her ears twitching as she speaks. And that was a bigger mistake than the time I allowed a Cypher to court me. Mistake? How so? I'd just been attempting to turn a quick copper, but she bites her lip, her face turning flushed with anger. Just my luck. The blasted currents threw my ferry to the rocks, dashed it and my profits to pieces. Oh. I was hoping someone maybe stole your ferry so I could go get it back for you and then you could repay me by taking me across, typical RPG fashion, but I guess not. Making matters worse, when I went to prowl the shore to salvage whatever shipping crates didn't sink, a pair of looters attacked me. She stomps her foot into the ground. The downed brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but they now have stolen by force all that's left of my fortune. Oh, well, obviously they took something she's going to want back. This is a role-playing game after all, guys. Like, let's be honest here. Per day is why you hate playing mages in D&D. I never liked playing wizards for that reason. I love sorcerers. Sorcerers are bloody good fun. Because sorcerers get to just spam spells all the live long day. But wizards never did it for me. Having to select in advance which spells you wanted and then prepare them. Nah. You just ended up using your sodding. Whatever ranged weapon you'd been equipped with most of the time. But I always liked sorcerers in 3rd edition onwards. Because, They were just more flexible. It's like, you get X number of that level of spell per day, do what you want with it. Enjoy. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. How could I enlist your help? Why do you think we would look better? Well, because you're the protagonist, obviously. Oh, good point, I suppose. Well, continue. I'll take a look. She smiles wide, her ears perking up. Thank you. I'm sure those thugs have made a mess of my stock, but maybe there's something left there to be saved. Goodbye. Find the wreckage. Well, who the devil are you? Oh, just nobody really. Oh, God. Eat musket. No. Goes in the stash, damn it.
Hey.
We done? We are indeed done. Ooh. What have we got here? A fine hatchet. Camping supplies. Hell yes. Camping supplies for the camping supplies god. I know my party wants to chat. I know. I literally said that 5 minutes ago, bruh. Heaven's sake. I might as well go have a look at the destroyed bridge. I mean, why not, right?
That over there? That'd be the easy way to get to Defiance Bay. Before the floods, anyway.
Yup. Hell of a fucking flood. Apparently. Nope. We're not here 5 minutes ago. Yeah, well, that's why you don't try and backseat the streamer, right? Because whatever it is, he probably already knows. Pro tip and all that. You would be the looters in question, would you not? I think we found him, guys. Gold Rock Chew. There's a lot of consumable items in this game that I'm never going to remember to use. I'm probably not playing on a high enough difficulty to ever warrant using them anyway, am I? So... Gathered around the soggy timbers of a shipwreckage, men and women pick through the driftwood, snatching muddy silverware, mouldy clothes, chipped pottery, and anything they can spot amongst the detritus. All eyes turn to you as you approach. The group trade nervous stares at you until at last a woman in muddy clothes steps forward and speaks. "Where are Bretel and Terran?" she asks. "They were just up along that path and we heard fighting." Her eyes narrow and her hand moves towards a knife on her belt. She anticipates your reply. Who? "My cousins. They were waiting up on the path, keeping an eye out for..." Hanman's voice falls silent as she looks at the path by which you arrived. "Trouble." "They attacked us. It was a matter of self-defense." You killed them!" You see Hanman's eyes tear up before she buries her face in her hands. Men and women around take a step back, eyeing you cautiously. Hanman looks up, wiping her eyes. "You speak of self-defense. Well, we're defending ourselves from this storm." Her voice rises and her face grows flushed with emotion. "The floods took our entire farm. We have nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof, and now I don't even have my cousins." She throws up her hands in despair. We don't want to fight you. We've lost enough already. Please just leave us. I came here investigating some missing cargo. We mistook your cousins for looters. You know, because they were named Looter, and they attacked us on sight. You know, easy mistake to make, right? She blinks in disbelief. Looting? But this is a wreck. What value does it have? The men and women all turn to her. Her face is frightened and worried. Please, we need these supplies dearly. The storm took everything from us. It's not our desire to steal, but we are destitute. Should we let these wares just sink to the river bottom? Well, I mean, you know, when the woman who owns this shit is literally just like 5 meters up the path that way, it's a bit rich, guys. Come on. Oh, we just poor looters here now. Please, we need this to live. The woman who owns this is stood right over there. She's like she's right over there. Alright, tell you what. I'm sorry for your misfortune. Can I help? Perhaps you could tell the merchant you found nothing beyond bits of driftwood. From her point of view, it'll be as if the river washed it all away. Besides, how much copper will she really make by selling these rotten clothes and sold wares? How about, where's the option? Here, have this bag of gold. Now fuck off. Please. And thank you. But that's not an option, because... Fine, I'll see what I can do. Thank you, she sighs, wiping a sweat from her brow. You're the first turn of good fortune to come our way in a very long time. Hanlon snaps her fingers at one of her comrades and points to a pile of supplies drying in the sun. We don't have much, but take this as a token of our thanks. Like, this is the opposite of... For fuck's sake. Right end of the rope drifts in the river. Lol. How funny it would be if I just came along and stole it too. Anyway. You know what the thing is, though, right? Here's the thing. Like, because Dragon Age was, you know, it's pretty damn grimdark, right? But, Jesus, we stripped their bodies as well. It's undignified. But Dragon Age manages to have just enough levity in there to make it bearable, right? Like, this little incident down here was immediately just reminded me of... You remember when we were in the Elven Alienage in Dragon Age? And I gave out some gold to the guys begging. And then we walked back down the street again a little bit later, and suddenly there's like 3 guys. We're like, oh, we're so poor, penniless and poor. We need some more money. And you're like, okay, fine, here you go. And you come back and there's like a whole crowd of them. Like, we're so poor and penniless. We all need some money. You know, this game could do with more stuff like that, is all I'm saying. It could do with a few more bits that make you chuckle in between all of the relentless horror. Yeah, I'm an orphan. Yeah, like the Ralph Wiggum character. It was, you know, it was a moment of levity and amongst all the grimness, and this game could stand to have a little bit more of that. Yeah, there was the guy dressed in noble clothes. He's like, I just heard they were giving out free money. Harrigan bounces on her feet as you approach. My helpful stranger returns. Have you managed to find anything yet? Even if all you found is driftwood, just knowing those looters got what they deserved would moisten my breeches. Excuse me, what? I picked through the wreckage, but I found nothing salvageable. I must have washed away. Peregrine kicks her foot into this dirt several times. I figured just as much. Well, thank you for your assistance. I suppose I need to figure out how I'll recover my investment. At last, her foot stops kicking and she lets out a long sigh. Thanks for trying. If you find yourself in Defiance Bay, search out my shop. I need all the customers I can get. Quest experience. That's more valuable than gold. That would be stealing. Alright. Guess we gotta go all the way around, huh? What if can we go to the edge there? No, I'm gonna go over this way. There's the Edelwun Bridge there. So I guess we'll go to Woodend Plains. The rumor train. Good times. Bright Hollow restoration construction completed. Oh, good. Do we have anything of interest here? Memorials. Okay. I assume that was probably Kickstarter backers or something. Oh yeah, there you go. The ledger. Oh, we can really just do it from here? Using fantasy eBay? Fair enough. How much money do I even have right now? Not a lot, actually. Leave it for now.
Hush, Itumok. We'll just wait a little longer.
Oh, there's a big white pupper. Hello, doggo. A dwarven woman dressed in skins and hides leans against the road marker. Her face is turned down, her eyes darkened by a thick stripe of face paint. She's sharpening a bone arrowhead with a scrimshaw-handled knife. Her attention, however, is focused on a bear figurine between her feet. A large white-furred fox standing at her heels looks up at your approach.
Easy, Itumok. It's not him.
This outfit may not be flattering, but I'm definitely not him. She lifts her head and looks at you. No argument there, it's just not you I'm looking for. Who are you waiting for?
Short version? I'm looking for a very, very old friend. I'm not sure what skin he's wearing now, but I'll know him when I see him.
Are you Mrs. DLC lady? Because I recognize this fox from the White March artwork. But maybe I'm wrong. Boob plate. Indeed. But, you know. Your friend is supposed to meet you here.
That's what I heard. Of course, the man who told me so was carrying a staff he claimed was made from dragon bone, but I know Whitewood when I see it. That should have been my first clue, but I had to try something.
Try something? What exactly are you talking about?
The long version. Here we go. I'm from an island to the far south called Nasitok. I came here looking for a village elder, a man we knew as Persok. I'm a hunter back home, so tracking someone wouldn't normally be a problem. But Persok's trail is cold, to say the least.
Why can't you find him? There can't be that many of your people in the Deerwood. He died when I was still a young girl. Forgot to mention that part, did I? I'm looking for his latest reincarnation, which could be anyone. How long have you been looking for Persok? 5 years. So you've been searching 5 years for a stranger you barely remember. Who could be anyone now?
That about sums it up.
Why'd you have to find him? That's more of a campfire tale. I'm not quite ready to get into it. Then it must be an important duty.
So I keep reminding myself. Still, it would be nice if important duties came with clearer instructions.
How does that statuette figure into it? She dusts the figurine on her trousers and raises it in her small flat palm. It's carved in the shape of a bear, smooth and round. The polished ardra is worn to a dull mat along its arched back and ovoid haunches. A soft glow emanates from within.
Cute, isn't it? It belonged to Persok. Before he returned to the wheel, he left a splinter of his soul in it. Something to help us find him later.
As she holds it out to you, you feel wisps of sensation, not quite memories, but traces of someone.
When I left Nasitak, it was completely dark inside. But as I've gotten closer to Persok, it's glowed steadily brighter. Since I've reached the Deerwood, however, it's gotten hard to read. Some days it flickers and goes dark. Others it shines nice and bright. For a few hours. But most of the time, it looks just like this.
Presumably because the old Deerwood is cursed. I don't know, there's some weird reincarnation soul buggery going on in the Deerwood, apparently, it seems. So, this does not surprise me. I could take a look at it.
I've heard that one before. Whole reason I'm standing here is because some so-called watcher from Forkvale told me he could take a look. For a few golden dukes, of course. I was on my way out of the Balmarsh when I heard talk of a traveling mystic who could supposedly see souls. I knew it was a long shot, but what did I have to lose? I went to see this fellow and gave him the Audra figurine. He made a big show of moaning and rolling his eyes, and after I'd given him 5 golden dukes to lift the shroud, he told me to seek the crossroads in the field between the Wolf's Lair and the twining trees.
What's the Wolf's Lair? Defiance Bay. Locals call the current Duke Wolfgren. Sounds like he'd be fun to drink with. Is Twining Trees a real place? He meant Twin Elms. I haven't been there yet, but I hear they have some especially memorable trees. Go on.
He thought he was being vague, but I know the area well enough to recognize that he meant this place, right between Defiance Bay and Twin Elms. I had a bad taste in my mouth, but my coin was spent and I'd already left an arrow in his knapsack as a friendly warning. Told him I'd come back and leave him with another if it turned out he was giving me the runaround. I've been here a week now. Guess he had the last laugh after all.
May I see the figurine?
Why?
I'm a real watcher.
You expect me to believe that? After the story I just told you?
I mean it.
Fine. But if you try to run, just remember that my arrows are faster.
She hands you the figurine, her chapped knuckles grazing your hand. She watches you examine it, wary but curious. You raise the Ardra bear, turning it in the light as your eyes catch a tiny glinting scratch. The scenery around you melts away. You're standing on a cliff overlooking the water, seeing through eyes that aren't your own. You catch the musk of beasts amidst the fresh scent of vegetation, and your heart beats a little faster. You'll have to watch your step up here. You look down just long enough to see the sharp, pale cliffs drop into the water hundreds of feet below you. I see a vision of cliffs high over the water. Does that sound familiar? A question is greeted with shrugs and silence. Yeah, our perception's nowhere near high enough. I've got it. He's standing on a cliff.
What are you talking about? What just happened?
Told you, I'm a watcher. She blinks at you a few times, calculating. I know this sounds strange, but it's the truth.
You realize I've got no coin to give you, even if I did believe you.
She's probably a ranger, right? She's got a pet. Alright then. Come with me. I've got other business in the area and we can look for Persock along the way.
If this is your idea of a joke, you may be stuck with me for a while. Lead the way.
Hooray! We have a full party finally! Woo! And a big white doggo. Who I can directly control. That's cool. Got a full party plus an extra doggo. Plus our existing doggo.
Hey.
Doggos! For days! I feel like I should reform the formation slightly. Lol. That's your classic D&D marching order there. Everybody in single file, let's do this. I was hoping for, like, this, but the other way, so that we could have a front rank of 3 and a back rank of 3, but I guess it's not available unless I do a custom formation. We could do a triangle. I mean, that sort of works. Just an awkward shape to work with, really. Let's, yeah, let's see. Right. Doodly-doo. Do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do. Do. Do.
I'm flattered.
There we go.
Certainly.
Does that work? Oh, you've swapped places now, bollocks. 9. You was looking you to go back there. There we go. That works. The triangle makes them look like migrating birds, yeah. Yeah, that works for me. Doggies at the back. And now, Sagani has joined the party. She is a 4th level dwarf ranger. Cool. And I more or less understand how rangers work because one of the test characters I did was a ranger. When I tried this game out for the first time, so... Hermit's hat. Okay. Would you like a hermit's hat? Enjoy. We've got a bunch of other stuff in here you could use. What are you equipped with right now? You've got a Masuk hunting bow. And you've got a fine dagger and a fine hatchet. Okay. I guess you don't necessarily need heavy armor right now. I mean, the trade-off with heavy armor and the way it works in this RPG system is essentially that you get to act more often in combat if you're wearing lighter armor. So if she's wearing lighter armor, she can shoot her bow more often, for example. And I'm actually fine with that, so I'm not going to give her the big heavy brigandine, I don't think. Also have a hood and a nasal helm, which all do the exact same thing. And we have the food, and then we have the other things. The random bits, torch, grappling hook, pry bar can go in there as well, I suppose. Actually, I think the thieves' tools can stay in the stash. Actually, I don't think there's any particular reason for them to be in our immediate inventory. That is a heavy iron key and some scolder meat. Yum yum. All right, cool.
Right.
Oops, sorry. I thought I had everyone selected, but I didn't. Right, quick save. So I suppose we might as well explore this little tile here for a bit more. I like that the exterior tiles in this game are smaller than in Baldur's Gate. Because in Baldur's Gate, you felt obliged to explore everywhere you went. And the problem with that was that all the fucking areas were massive. And that's a... How do you even pronounce that? I don't know. Kill it, though. It cast a thing on us. No casting things. That's not allowed. Oh, no, what are you doing? I'm trying to select the portrait. Arcane Assault.
Yes.
Oh my god, what? Is that thing not going to disappear now, or... Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. Our endurance took a bit of a hit there, but we're good. Health still relatively okay. I think we're fine for now. I don't need to rest yet. Awakened wood. This irregular chunk of wood seems to hold a trace of life within it. Curious. What have we here? Some stuff. Doesn't seem to belong to anyone in particular. I guess we'll take it. Bunch of looters that we are. Oh crikey, hello, it's a forest lurker. Why even is a forest lurker? It looks like Nettle just on a really bad day. Can I not? Like, right-click on it to find out something about it. Maybe it's in the bestiary somewhere, but I think that'll only be once we've killed it, actually. No, I don't know. Just get it. You can use marked prey. You, good sir. Still don't know how channels work, really. Hey-ho. And frickin' Durance here has got more spells than I know what to do with. He's got a ridiculous number of spells. We can just do that. Do your fucking thing. This is a freaking frog helmet. That makes me laugh. Awakened wood. Be quiet, you intestinal. Be quiet, you juvenile young man. Seriously, though. Duran is a beast. I feel like he probably wouldn't appreciate being called that, but I fully approve of it. Ah, that's a good one. Do that.
Kind of stuck over here.
Dead on.
And you can do knockdown, and you can do wounding shot. It's 2 per encounter, so why the fuck not, right? Although, I'm not sure what it'll achieve really in this instance. No, it'll hobble them. Hobbling's good. Even if they're not actually going anywhere.
Got an arrow.
More arcane assault. More.
It's on me.
Woohoo! We did it! Go team! Doggy's in a bit of a state, unfortunately, but... Although I don't think the dog has, like, you know, persistent health in the way everyone else does, so... As long as the dog doesn't get knocked out in combat, it's essentially immortal. That's pretty good. I mean, as all dogs should be, right? Oh, there's plenty more to explore around here, so let's go ahead and do it. I feel like the endurance versus health thing is, again, another kind of... I say again, but actually it's probably the only thing in this game so far that's genuinely overcomplicated for the sake of it. I'll explore that house in a minute. I just want to mop up this fog of war. I don't really know why they went with that. What's wrong with just a health bar? It's a little strange, honestly. Hello, who are you? Who are you? You are another person who only exists for the purposes of reading stuff. I'm just going... Wait a minute. Yeah, no, this is totally... I'm not even going to do it. I'm not. Okay, let's just at least try and roleplay, alright? I'm just going to take Thorman's camping supplies right in front of her, even if it doesn't technically count as stealing. That is ridiculous. Oh, Jesus! It's a freaking lion! What? Bad kitty! Why are you here? Sweet Christ! Sweet bloody Christmas! It's a lion! Also... Okay, no, I thought that was a sign saying where everyone was fatigued, but we're not actually, not even close. Knock that lion down. Bad kitty. Bad. I could do with almost a macro that does all these standard things at the beginning of every fight. Awful lot of micromanaging that needs to happen. I know there's that you can tweak the AI script a little bit, but I don't think I can tweak it to quite that level of customization. It's weird, actually. The priest seems to work like a sorcerer in D&D in this game. In fact, everyone works like a sorcerer. It's like you have 3 second-level spells and 4 first-level spells to spend per day. And you can spend them in any combination. It works just like a sorcerer in D&D. Repulsing seal. I'm just imagining an actual seal. as in the aquatic mammal. The seal of repulsion. Just a seal appears and it just pushes everyone back like a magnetic field. Man, magic could be so much more fun if you summoned an actual seal. When it said repulsing seal. Anyway. Wounding shot on the lion. Yeah, it's not long for this world. In a world of magical angry tree flower blobby things, lion, you're really not top of the food chain, I'm afraid. King of the jungle, you are not. This isn't even a jungle. What are you doing here, Mr. Lion? Did he escape from a zoo? He might have done. Who freaking knows? This is an RPG. Oh my god, 3 trolls? And an impronounceable thing? This might be a bit more than we can handle, to tell you the honest to God truth, actually. This is a bit nasty looking. Crikey. Well, we'll give it our best shot, I suppose. You can do that. Rolling flat. Bollocks. This is why I hate area of effect spells in games like this that do actual friendly fire. Like, why does magic have to have friendly fire? It's so irritating. It's like this in Dungeons and Dragons as well, and it's just, God, it annoys me. Like, can you I mean, it's magic, alright? There are no rules here. Can we just make it so that it doesn't affect my allies, please? It would make everything so much less annoying. But no! There, you can do a knockdown on this forest troll, yeah. Don't want magic to be realistic. Pfft. Realistic magic is overrated. Scare the shit out of them with that. Do that. Do that now. Use your crazy watcher powers. You, in the meantime... You can do that. Is that an enemy type? No, it's the single target. Oof. Alright. We need to maneuver here, my friend. Some maneuvering needs to happen. So that you can do this. I think it's still going to hit our friends, unfortunately. Boom! Fire! Also, more fire! Yeah. We're not looking very healthy right now. Do we have like a bog basic healing spell we can use here? Try that. Damn it.
better care of our...
Durance is down. Durance is down. Shit. All right. Nettle, it's time for you to power the fuck up. Do it. Shield. And... Yeah! Now kill all the things with your magic staff. Go over it. Just hulking out right now. Mega Nettle in the house. Just glowing everything. Nice. Oh, look at that. So much glowing shit. Humphrey would be proud of you, Nettle.
Yes?
We have a Nettle indeed. Right, cool. I think we should probably rest now. Alright, since we're all sat here...
That old watcher. I don't know what I expected, but it sure wasn't that.
You said you had some things you wanted to ask him.
Nah, it's... well, it's kind of embarrassing now. I just got a dumb idea in my head is all. Don't know why I thought it'd work. It's funny. That's probably the first thing I got my hopes up for in... I don't know... years. At least I got that out of it.
What was it?
All right. Guess fair is fair, and you did bring me to see him. Those rumors back in Gilded Vale about my brother, Woden. About how he turned against us and fought for Widewind. Been on my mind for some time now.
Ed. Hold on, guys. I just need to switch off this ceiling fan. There we go. That's better. It's nice having the ceiling fan on to cool me down a bit, but it's a noisy fucker. It really is. That's better. Luckily, you can't really hear it on the mic here. I fine-tuned it so that you can't, but I can hear it. It's quite... oh. Suddenly peace and quiet. Oh, right, okay. Anyway.
The thing about Woden was, he always knew what was right, and that's what he'd do. One day he set out to fight for Deerwood against a man claiming to be our god. So I knew that's what I had to do too. It was right. But hearing claims that he died fighting for Ray and Saris, that got me worried. Not that he'd chosen the wrong side, but that I had. Didn't seem right what Widewind had in store, but if he really was Aethys... I thought, maybe this old Watcher would know how my brother died. So I could see if it was true. Like he could, I don't know, read it in my soul or something. Use our connection. Told you it was dumb.
Why didn't you ask me for help? I don't know. Guess because I didn't know you. It's hard to trust a stranger that says she's a watcher.
Of course, I knew the truth deep down. Watcher's not psychic. I think I just had this idea, and the idea made me feel a certain way, and I didn't want to lose that.
Really? If I wanted to find out about my brother, I shouldn't be starting with watchers. I should be starting with records. So why don't you? Adair thinks a moment, his lips twisted to one side. He raises his eyebrows. If there was anything written down about it, they'd have it in Defiance Bay. They got an archive at the palace. Sorry. Difficult to read this scripture now.
You've done a lot for me already, but if you could see fit to pay that archive a visit with me, well, you know. Knowing my luck, the records clerk will go crazy and try to kill me. I'd feel better with you in there with me.
More XP! XP for the XP throne. No friendly fire sounds illogical to you? Yeah, well, it's magic. It's not meant to be logical. Shut up. I am an all-powerful wizard that can conjure a massive fireball out of nowhere. I'm sure I can add a few lines to the spell so that it doesn't hurt people I specifically don't want it to hurt. Alright. Deal with it.
It's good to be on the road again. A wanderlust is nothing rare in the people of Rauatai, but often I think myself alone in loving the land as much as the sea. What shall we see next, I wonder?
Shut up. Sorcerer Name 2018. Tell me about Rauatai.
Ah, Rauatai. Shall I describe the pearl-white sands, the sapphire waters, the multi-hued tiles of the rooftops, like a mosaic upon the coast? Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're a bard. You guys do this sort of thing all the time. Was there something specific you wanted to know? Sounds like you miss home. Some parts of it. Those silver cliffs, the sea, those at least no one can change. The day I boarded the ship for Adir, the sunrise was gold upon the water, and I nearly leapt overboard and swam for home. People here say that the coastal Amur are cruel people. Cruel in the same manner that Orlans are feral and the pale elves graceful, yes? How are we pronouncing this again? Almaua conquered Rauatai long ago, and drove their enemies from those lands in the doing of it. Today, the great kingdom of Rauatai holds humans, Orlans, slaves, even island Almaua. That's, yeah. Kana flashes a quick smile. What a campaign of conquest says about those responsible, you'll have to ask the Adirans. In any case, yes, the reputation persists. Good if you want fighting work, less so if you would like to be a cook. I had other questions. What is the sacred book you're looking for?
The Tanvi Oratoa. It's not really a book. It's been passed down over the years in the form of a chant. I actually found it a little strange at first, seeing it set down in stone. It's not quite the same as a song of worship, though we have paeans to the gods as well. More a kind of moral guide. It gives us something to aspire to. The, model of a virtuous citizen of Rauatai.
Might have crumbled away by now.
Much of Ingwith's writing is lost to us, but an engraving would survive. I found several tablets at the site in Examitl. The scholar Gabranos, in particular, seems to have been fond of writing on the walls. I may have to ask you to help me carry it, if it's a large stone.
So describe this virtuous citizen.
Dutiful, learned, honest. The sticking point is loyal. Loyal to the people of Rauatai above all others. Fearless in their defense and bold in aspiration. Tireless in battle or industry. An inspiration to one's people. But it seems it's not that far a leap from there to the idea that we must cast out foreign influences.
Is that what you aspire to be?
Doesn't everyone want to be a good citizen?
Do you think the Enwithans were the true authors?
I don't know that the distinction is necessarily important. Rawatai has a long history, and our people have come from many different places. It matters less who wrote it than that I have found pieces of the verses all around the world. Wherever it came from, it will be Rawatai that decides what becomes of it. All the races and peoples of our kingdom coming together to create a great empire. You see, then, that I am loyal in my way.
Why look for it out here?
There have been arguments as to the chant's true interpretation, new translations even. But any rendition of it I find in the ruins of Engwith will predate those translations by 2,000 years. And finding it here also proves that we still have much to gain from trading with other cultures. I'd be lying if I said I'm not looking forward to seeing the look on everyone's faces when I get back. But in the long term, I just think that we can learn a lot from the Engwithians. A civilization like that is something to aspire to. A model for Rawatai as a whole, and not just its people. And I want to prove that all of this is worthwhile. Traveling, seeing the world for what it is. It's been so different from sitting in the Chanter Hall and studying books.
Excuse me. You came all this way just to win an argument.
More or less. It wasn't a popular theory when I suggested it. The idea that we shared the Tanvi Oratoha with some older culture, doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't help that my family is from the Deadfire Islands. If I had a copper pond for every chanter who suggested that it's just not in my nature to conquer. My siblings, my parents, they make up for it. They build walls and cannons and ships. I've tried to explain. It isn't that I think those things aren't necessary, but if Rawatai closes itself off from trade, turns on its own people over tradition, we will fall behind, and then we'll be the ones getting conquered. I think my father tries to understand at least.
Let's get going. Except he still wants to talk to us.
Yes, my friend?
How are you holding up? No, wait, you're being hunted by the leaden key. Yeah, these are the guys from the start with the weird masks on, if I recall. So it seems. It's all rather absurd. What harm could I possibly do them by finding this text? Perhaps they don't like Rawatai. You don't seem worried about this. They haven't had much luck. The last one came up to me at a dig site and slipped on a muddy beam. I tried to catch him, reflex I should think, but he went right over the side and down 100 feet. I'm not really sure what he had in mind, but I doubt that was it. Who are these people? I thought it only fair to delve into their activities in turn. I found word of a leaden key, but past that, it was all ravings and superstitions. I might as well have gone around asking whether someone had ever seen a whale flying through the air. Some might well tell me yes, but the validity of their accounts is questionable. How are you holding up? I'm ready if you are. Okay. Alworth seems lost in thought. He flinches when you draw near, sucking a sharp breath through his teeth.
What can I do for you?
Are you all right?
Of course. Merely processing some of the unusual things we've seen lately. And if Meerwald is to be believed, it would seem you've an uncertain future ahead.
I don't know what to think. No, he was out of his mind. I don't place stock in the ramblings of a lunatic.
Perhaps Defiance Bay holds the answers we need.
Move on. Okay. Sagani draws up beside you, a fox following at her heels, and takes a seat next to you. We have seats now? Where have we been keeping those?
Even if you are putting one over on me, it's nice to have a hunting party again.
Finding Persock must be important for you to have traveled so long.
5 years for me. Must be 30-something for Ichimak.
Hearing its name, the fox looks up. How's the search going?
It's been a long hunt. A long time away from my family. Before, I'd crossed the tundra of Nasitok following caribou herds. I didn't want to leave Kalu and our children, but I was eager to visit lands my people rarely do. But 5 years without finding him. It's like 2 hours of necking. I'm ready to be done with it.
I want to know what necking is. Why'd you have to find Persock?
Soul recovery is an old village tradition. We call it the Tarnek Elitsak. Once in a generation, we seek the soul of a much respected and long dead village elder. We tell him what's changed in the village, how people remember him. The only other Tarnek Elitsak during my lifetime happened when I was a girl, not long after Persock died. We feasted on blubber and fermented milk for a week, and we honored the chosen huntress as a hero.
Ugh. Blubber and fermented milk, eh? Yum.
Then she left, and we returned to our duties. We still sang her name to the skies during festival season, but we otherwise didn't speak of her.
What happened to her? I don't think she ever returned. It happens that way sometimes. I see.
It's not being forgotten by my village that troubles me. But sometimes I wonder how my husband and children remember me, if they think of me often.
Of course they do. They must, surely. I would like to believe it, and yet sometimes days go by and I realize they have not crossed my thoughts. Such days are rare, but they happen. Shames me to think of it, but more than that, it scares me.
Still, there's no point in dwelling on it. More often I find myself wondering whether Persock will remember us. You claim to see souls. What do you think? Do you remember your past lives?
Not clearly, no. I figured most people don't anyway. I suppose that's why I'm supposed to remind Persock of what he left behind in our village. Has your village changed much since his time?
Masuk is probably much the same as it was 100 years ago. We live between tundra and frozen forests, and the land takes as much as it gives. But our hardships bring us together. And the elders truly unite us. They keep the stories of past generations, and they guide us from season to season, through good years and lean.
Recently, there have been a lot of good years. My aunts say we've had fewer clashes with neighbouring villages thanks to the hunting territories that Persock helped establish. In bad years, we rely on trade with the merchants that pass our shores. We exchange walrus tusks and seal pelts for grains that last us the hard winters. Persock brokered a lot of those agreements too. He got this from one of the Almoa ships that used to trade with us. Sounds like Persock did a lot for your people.
That's what I'm supposed to remind him.
Sounds like you're on a hunt of your own, though. You feeling the thrill of the chase, or ready for this to be over? Um, Yeah, I think this one. Running around like this keeps me from what matters to me. I've been hoping to settle down. I know what you mean. Might as well keep moving while we've got some daylight. Okay. Oh, is that everyone? Good. Oops.
I'm here.
Select everyone. Oh god. A forest lurker. Do the thing. Another round of those. There we go.
I'm here.
Very good. And mushrooms. I'm quick saved in a while. And a dead person. Lovely. Speaking of iced tea, I could really do with a drink, actually. I'm probably going to go get one in a minute. Let's kill this thing first. Oh, no, no, no. Do this instead. Don't. Oh, that's pretty cool. I could do Arcane Veil and Spirit Shield. I didn't even power... when we powered you up earlier, now we didn't even power you up to the max. Crikey. Well, I didn't do that either. Jesus Christ. You could... Nell can go fucking Super Saiyan with the setup she's got right now. She really can. Good lord. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ready, Watcher.
Come on, just die, dude. There we go.
Yes?
Sure, this awakened wood's useful for something. Right. Okay, now we've murdered the local inhabitants of the forest. I'm going to quick save. And I will return shortly. Because I really need a drink. I honestly do. So be right back, folks. I've returned. The other thing about Domino's Pizza is it's yummy and everything, but fucking hell, it stinks. It's like a bag of Doritos. Like, I can't think of other than a bag of Doritos, I can't think of another type of food that stinks up a room more after you've opened it. I just went down to the kitchen where all the pizza stuff is still in there, and just, you can, as soon as you walk in, it's like, pff, pizza smell. Anyway.
I'm here.
Right, anyway, so, I'm back. I still feel like Mr. Creosote. I really do. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten nearly so much, but never mind. Yeah, the game's music is quite lovely. It is quite lovely indeed. Hang on a second. Where do we actually need to go? Yeah, we need to go west. As I thought. You like the menu sound effects in this game? Yeah, I suppose. I get where you're coming from.
I'm here.
What are we playing next? I haven't really decided. It might be Dark Souls because it's to be honest with you, if I ever find myself in an evening being like, oh, I'm not really sure what I want to play, I usually end up playing Dark Souls because it's easy to just boot up and play. However, I do have a few other things. You know what I saw Jeff Major playing the other day? Welcome to Defiance Bay, but watch yourself in our city, understand? I saw Jeff playing old IL-2 Sturmovik the other day, 1946. I haven't played that game in fucking forever. Kind of made me nostalgic, though, I have to admit. How far are we into Dark Souls? Where did we get to? Oh, we're at Anor Londo. That's where we are. We're at Anor Londo. The next boss fight up is Ornstein and Smaug. Biggie and Smalls, yep. We've done a lot. Yeah, we have. I did a very long stream, but also we got through a lot of the boss fights and stuff surprisingly quickly, so we did quite a few bosses that I beat on like the first and second attempt and stuff, so can't believe you missed Jeff playing it. Well, the VOD is still up if you want to go watch it, and it is funny as shit, because Jeff is, as ever, completely fucking terrible at flight sims. But it's still brilliant to watch, because Jeff has that. Jeff's one of those people who just has a way of reminding you that games are, at the end of the day, supposed to be fun, which is sometimes easy to lose track of. Jeff will sit there and he will play games that he is terrible at, and he'll be terrible at them, and he'll continue being terrible at them, and he'll lose, and he'll die, and he'll fail constantly, and he'll have such a good fucking time doing it, and it's infectious, it really is. 1F Jeff, absolute legend, really. There's very, very few LPs and streamers and stuff that I actually regularly watch these days. I just don't have the time anymore. There's a very, very, very select, small group of people I still actually bother to watch. And all of them are people like Jeff. All of them are people who still manage to make me passionate about video games and this whole hobby. So, and he's definitely one of them. And his rants are amazing. Old man yells at cloud, etc. It'll take you 15 minutes to walk through this gate, apparently. Are we serious? Apparently we are, yeah. He also plays, like, the weirdest games as well. He does not play what you normally see people playing. And that's also very good.
Defiance Bay, the city at the heart of the Deerwoods Revolution, now seems on the brink of another. Refugees line the streets, homeless and hungry, displaced by White One's legacy, hoping for relief within the city walls, and finding none. Dissidents congregate to protest and to heckle, calling for an end to animancy and the ouster of their duke. The city's militiamen cast fearful looks as they patrol the streets, their hands trembling at the hilts of their weapons. The capital of a country that had not long ago incinerated a god now appears to be a spark away from sharing the deity's fate.
It takes 10 minutes to open. All right. It's nighttime. And there is a
City of Defiance,
a cat?
Crown jewel of the Deerwood. If you ask the locals, anyway.
And yet the Duke and his toadies and the Crucible Knights do nothing. Can we allow these atrocities to continue unchecked? No! Shouts the one random guy. Down with animancy! White One's legacy was one warning. Heritage Hill was another. Well, getting a bit Kermit the Frog here for some reason. Oh, hello there. Yeah, let's move away from you. Kermit the Frog here. Let's anyway. Who are you? What is it? I'm looking for the Temple of Wodica. Huh, you say so. It's in the First Fires. It's in First Fires just west of Crucible Keep. Jolly good. What's this place? The Goose and Fox. Welcome to the Goose and Fox.
Well met, friend.
The man behind the bar is nearly the size of an Almara. A handle protrudes from his back. A handle protrudes from his back? And what? And his face is set in a stoic frown. He gives you a small nod. Here for a drink. There's a tiny pewter cup in front of him. He turns it in one broad hand, but doesn't drink from it. A handle. I don't understand. But anyway. This is a lively place. a sword. You call it a hilt, for Christ's sake, man. You call it a hilt, not a handle. Handle gives you all the wrong idea. Or like an axe haft, then. An axe haft. That's what it's called, not a handle. Handle's just a very confusing word to use in that situation. You were picturing like a beer mug's handle sticking out. It was just fine. So was I. Same here. It was founded in the early days of Deerwood independence by a travelling scholar named Errol of Levy. Or Levi. Who flippin' knows? Everything can be pronounced about 6 different ways in this damn game. You know, people say a lot of bad things about the Forgotten Realms, but at least everywhere in the Forgotten Realms was easy to pronounce. Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, Athkatla, Hilltop, Thay. Like, every name of every place in that damn game, you know, Icewind Dale, all the place names, I say that game, that setting in Forgotten Realms, where just you pronounce them exactly as they were read on the tin, you know? Not so in this game. Good grief. He wanted a place where kith of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. He rests his elbows on the polished wood of the bar. It didn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argue with dock workers from the gift, while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Dear Woodens have never been known to turn down an argument. He takes a sip from the tiny cup. What happened next? Soon, gifts were coming in from the farms and settlements too. He waves at the door as if expecting a crowd to bustle in. This place got even more popular with the Valian sailors than the salty mast. And that was the problem. He drains his cup. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane, and when he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. He shrugged, spreading his hands over the bar as he surveys the room. But Errol knew which way this wind was blowing. If you ask me, he skipped town. Hid out somewhere, open for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. He cracks a wry grin. Only you could see it now. Order some refreshment. By which I mean, I will sell you all of this crap I have. It's scrap selling time, my dear fellow. Okay. That. It will hold on to the grimoire. We don't want the fine greatsword. The fine sword can go. The fine hatchet can go. Honestly, the fine rapier can go. I think we'll hold on to them for now. That's for armor. Doot. Suppose I'll hang on to the helmet. A helmet for now in case we need one for some reason. There are no rules really. Just for the love of Christ, make it easy on the people who have to deal with your fantasy universe. Don't name everything impossibly difficult to pronounce, please. Like this. Like this word right here that I think is pronounced Rawatai, but I'm not 100% certain. And this one looks to me like Ixamitil, but the other guy is pronouncing it Ixamitil. And I don't know. And like Duke, there was something apparently wrong with just spelling Duke the normal way. They decided to pronounce it. They decided to spell it D-U-C. I don't know why. They just decided that's the way they want to do it. Also, we could buy a yellow Labrador. I hope that's an actual live dog and not a meal. Jesus. Useless reliever, a prophet of truth. That's a comparison I'm not necessarily happy with, being a Halo fan and all. I am the prophet of truth, and so you must be silenced. Stab. Well, these all do things. As you can see, I already have some food in my inventory. I just never remember to use any of it. I only have a fireball trap as well, crikey. I don't need that. Ditch that stuff. The rest I think we can keep. And I'll keep all the alchemy stuff too. Alright, that should give us a big old pile of cash. Excellent. And we can retrain our characters. We can rest in a room. Do the merchant stay. I'm surprised it didn't pronounce lap. Where it's so easy. The vulture. I'm sorry, what? Oh, I forget it. This dude here having a grand old time by the fireplace. That miserable bastard, she says, just loud enough for the party to hear. I recognize you. You're an adventure hook. A woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her and watching it with furious intensity. It's about the size of a coin and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. She snatches it up with one hand and slams a half-empty cup down on the table with the other. This is not a good time. You look like you could use another drink. I'll get there. She takes a long drink from her glass. Just trying to calm down and trying to talk myself out of something foolish. Something foolish? She says nothing for a few moments, as if hoping you'll leave. At last, Kenra looks up at you, and lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise is blossoming along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give to my fiancé, this game. I'm going to say it's Pernish. I'm going to say it's Pernish, because when we met Kalisha in the damn prologue, her name was written Kaliska. So I'm going to decide what's Perkele. That's Finnish. It's a naughty word. SC as SH is the Polish. It is actually. Good point. But anyway, I'm going to say it's Pernish. Only he doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends, and they're not exactly pleasant company. Who hit you? She shakes her head. I know how this looks, but you don't understand. It's not like Purnish. It's these new friends of his. They brought out the worst in him. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool. I know what it means. Purnish makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they come to do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun somewhere in the gift. But not under my roof. She scowls and then winces, her fingertips gently probing her bruise. So F changes you, I guess. The Purnish I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. I never thought he'd. She trails off, still feeling the swollen, discoloured flesh. I thought Sveff just made people lay around not doing much. Kenra shrugs. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been this way. Maybe I could go talk to him. Her hand rests on the table and she clenches it into a white-knuckled fist. There's nothing more to say to him. We're finished. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. She opens her hand and a ring clatters to the table. It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I'll lose my temper, and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. She points to a bruise. I'll take this ring to Purnish then. She looks at you and nods. House is just north of here. Just please don't hurt him. As furious as I am, I don't want that on my conscience. Side quests. Hurrah! Oh, it's locked. That would be stealing. Brad Burris. Dwarven and Northern debate philosophy on the other side of the curtain. Or is that what they're doing? You know, usually in these places when you've got a closed off bit at the back with a curtain, it's debating philosophy is not what's happening in there, but that's what I get for having preconceptions. Who's this fella? Oh. If I wasn't sat here streaming and actually had to read this stuff out loud, I'd probably look at a few more of those. Psst, over here, miss. Oh dear. A young boy watches the passers-by and counts a grimy handful of coins. His face and arms are smudged with dirt, but except for the grass stains, his clothes are in good condition. As you approach, he blinks and makes a quick furtive effort to pocket his coins. The boy stares at you, his mouth hanging open. After several seconds frozen in silence, he rubs his scalp. How did you get your horns? Can I get them too? He snaps out of his trance, but continues to watch you with fascination. Hey, miss, want to know a secret? He wipes his nose with a sleeve. I know a real good secret. Careful, I've travelled the continent. The hardest bargains still come from my 7-year-old. Really? What is it? He shrugs and clasps his hands behind his back, kicking a loose pebble. I just saw folks hiding some really neat things. I could show you where, but Mum and Dad I can't read anymore. Told me not to talk to strangers. His eyes slowly roll up at you. But maybe you could help me with something, and we wouldn't be strangers. Help you with what? Gordy's voice suddenly rises in pitch and tempo. Not even more. Cries. The crucible knights of these daggers made out of March steel. It's the best steel around except for Durgan steel, which doesn't count because no one makes it anymore. He stops long enough to catch his breath. Anyway, there's this merchant over by the expedition hall, and he has a dagger made of real March steel. His eyes grow large and round. He said he wouldn't sell it to me because I'm a kid, and kids don't know anything about daggers. That's not true. I know lots about daggers. I know about the different kinds of steel. I know how the Crucible Knights make them in the forge. I know that the tip can pierce low-gauge scaled armor. That one's as good as that one's as good as sharp and can cut through bone. See, I know plenty about daggers, and I really, really want this one. So, and if you could get it for me, I promise I'll never ever ask anyone for anything ever again. In Masuk, we begin training our daughters with the hunting knife as soon as they can talk. Many can field dress a hare before their 10th birthday. I wouldn't trust this kid with a butter knife. You can't have a dagger, you'll poke your eye out. But if I'm going to be a real warrior, I have to start training young, just like the heroes in the stories. I just know I was a great warrior in a previous life. My mum even says I have an old soul. I don't have time for this. It's true, we really don't. Also, how the heck did we find ourselves up here? Eh? Oh, we're not up here. We're just... For a second, it looked like we were up on the battlements there, and I was like, what the... Skinflint. What's this place? I forget where we had to go for this side quest already, actually. What happened here? As you approach the dead man, you can feel the faint traces of his soul lingering, a stunned uncertainty holding it in place. When you near, without warning, the soul hurries towards you as though you were a solitary light in the dank gloom of... gloam? Dank gloam of this place. Come to usher it away. Its essence invades your consciousness. You're in a different body now, walking deeper into the catacombs, cloaked in a dark robe with a mask pulled over your face. You're following a familiar path along the canal, heading to a room built around a statue of a figure wearing a robe much like yours. Others await, clothed in hoods and shadows. Oh, hey, look! We accidentally, completely and utterly stumbled on the damn leaden key. Ahead is another figure dressed like you, travelling in the same direction. You don't know his name, and that's how it's supposed to be. Out of the darkness, something monstrous grabs the other figure. You turn to flee, but find yourself face to face with a troll. Panic pounding through your brain is interrupted by razor-edged teeth and claws. You snap yourself out of the dead man's memory. The corpse lies on the damp and grimy ground. His hood and mask are missing, and his clothes are shredded. Sagani draws up next to you. You're alright. Looks like you'd almost lost your footing there for a minute. It happens from time to time. You really are a watcher, aren't you? Once in a great many generations, one of my people is born with the ability to speak to souls. Usually, such individuals become elders, or a lone set of tracks in the snow. She cocks her head. I would have thought my journey would be easier if I could see what you see. But looking at you, I'm not so sure. Neither am I. Believe it or not, I once would have rejoiced to know that I'd be picked to travel far in search of something great, but even these gifts come with a cost, don't they? Forgive me if I was a little skeptical of your abilities before. I can't say I've met a real watcher before. Oh, don't worry about her. She just likes doing that from time to time. Seems to cheer her up, so I just let her. Once you've seen it a few times, the shock wears off. Every time she goes a little strange in the face, I try to see if I can hear anything. kind of grins. Hasn't worked so far. See if you can get her to tell you what the spirits said. Who's she? The cat's mother. Stood right here, you know. Okay, well, we'll come back there in a bit. Just want to explore it a little bit more. Maybe resolve this side quest first. Although, I think I may do that next time, because it's been a couple of hours now, and this is probably a good place to stop, honestly. So, folks, our party's freaking huge now. Good lord, there's like a small horde of things following us around now. Like, holy crap. There's like 6 actual, like, people, plus 2 dogs, one of which can actually fight. There's a small horde of us walking around, but anyway. Have we got any speech bubbles up here? No, we don't. Good. Wonderful. So, save it. Stream 4, I think? I'm not sure. I'm going to call it stream 4 anyway. I think it might only be 3, but I'm not sure. Imagine if everyone was a ranger. I know, right? You could just make. You could do that. You could make a custom party. It was all just rangers, small horde of animals. After starting to play Pathfinder tabletop, really starting to reappreciate this game. Yeah, it's it does feel very pen and paper RPG-ish, doesn't it? It's kind of what I like about it, honestly. Yeah, exactly. If you look at it like a D&D game, that's the best way to play it, honestly, I think, really, is if you treat it as if you are playing D&D. Or something like that. But anyway. Yeah. So, folks, we're done with this for tonight. But, I will take another quick break. And then when I come back, we will play something else.